grounds. If the Republicans in the committee were wrong about Bill Land Lee, if they were wrong in their assessment of his attempts to enforce the law or sue in pursuit of seeing that the law is obeyed, they would say so. If they would say that the Republicans are wrong as they analyze Lee's legal positions, they would say so. They don't. They come back and accuse the Republicans on the Senate Judiciary Committee. We're talking about people like Orrin Hatch and Jeff Sessions and Arlen Specter. We're accusing these people of being racists, anti-Asian American. It's baseless, it is groundless, and they look like fools. And it got even worse last night on the floor of the House of Representatives. From Rosa DeLauro on down, the Democrats made no concern whatsoever, had no concern over whether or not an election might have been tainted, whether there was illegality. They didn't care about that. All they did was seek to accuse the Republicans in the House of being racists themselves. What does this prove? I think this is a contempt for the American people. I think this is a contempt for the election process in this country. This is nothing more than a continuation of the fear-mongering and the scaremongering that the Democrats have engaged in. Because they're out of money, they are out of issues. They are a divided bunch of people, and they do not have any way to advance their agenda by advancing ideas and getting support for ideas. All they can do is attack personally and try to scare the American people. It was interesting. I watched C-SPAN last night, and during some votes, procedural votes, during the Sanchez-Dornan squabble, C-SPAN opened the phones. You know, C-SPAN's got phones for Republicans, phones for Democrats, and phones for independents, phone lines. And there were so many Democrats calling last night saying they were embarrassed as Democrats to be watching what they were watching. I'll tell you what, I was embarrassed. It was, and I was laughing at it at the same time, which I am wont to do. And I was laughing because I was pleased at how bankrupt these people are. They are really a bunch of nattering nabobs. They are directionless. They are aimless. They think they've gotten where they've gotten because of the fear-mongering and scaremongering, and to a certain extent they have because the president was involved in it. But they don't pull it off like the president does. They come off as mean-spirited, harsh, and unconcerned about the law, and it just doesn't wash. By the way, let's talk about Loretta Sanchez and playing the race card. They accuse the Republicans of playing the race card. Do you know that Loretta Sanchez ran for office one time before, and she did not use the name Sanchez? She used her maiden name, and she lost. She moves into Dornan's district, which was heavily Hispanic. I think her maiden name is Sanchez. She goes back and uses Sanchez as a means of winning because she was playing the race card. She was the one attempting to get votes on the basis of similarity based on her last name. I mean, the real players of the race card in this country are the liberal Democrats. It's the President of the United States who goes into New York City in an attempt to help General David Dinkins win re-election and plays the race card. Dinkins is the incumbent mayor. Clinton comes into town and says, you know, it's just a shame. There's still too many of us who won't vote for somebody because of the way they look. It's the liberals who play the race card in this country constantly. Then they have the gall to sit there and accuse the Republicans of doing it. Doesn't wash. American people see it and are repulsed by it. Look at the election returns from Tuesday and you'll see what I mean. We'll be back with more broadcast excellence and brilliance in a moment.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Yet another reason from El Rushbo to get DirecTV. It's movies. You like movies? Get DirecTV. It's the ideal entertainment choice for movie lovers. Not only can you get great cable movie channels, you also can select from up to 55 different pay-per-view movies every night. Every pay-per-view movie is only $2.99 when ordered by remote, and there are no rewind fees and no late fees. You watch the movie you want, you watch it in crystal clear digital picture and sound. DirecTV offers more first-run films, great family films, and more hits starting every half hour than you can get anywhere else. That's hundreds of movies every week. Now, for a DirecTV demonstration, head off to a Circuit City or a Best Buy today, or call 1-800-903-4388. That's 800-903-4388. See why DirecTV is satellite TV at its best. Hardware and programming are sold separately. Equipment and specifications may vary in Alaska. Programming and pricing subject to change. Certain restrictions apply.
Great Scott, great service, great price. Scott Motor Company, where luxury and value meet. Take the prestige seat.
New car and truck buyers have a choice in Wayne County, and that choice should be Scott Motor Company, your hometown dealer. Scott offers Pontiacs, Buicks, and GMC trucks. Come see the great selection of Buicks and Pontiacs, along with GMC trucks at Scott Motor Company. When you buy from Scott, you are assured of great service after the sale from their award-winning service department. Scott Motor Company, owned by the Scott family, and they've been taking care of their customers for over 75 years. When you buy from Scott, you're buying from hometown people. Get a great deal by Scott on a new Pontiac, Buick, or GMC truck at Scott Motor Company, Highway 70, Bypass, Goldsboro.
Using McCain Employment Services just makes sense.
I have realized and I now know that the way to maximize my profit is to use the personnel that are needed on a day-to-day basis. And when I have a situation that needs extra people, additional people, bring those in for the short term, bring those in for that particular need, and then release those personnel until I need them again.
Call McCain Employment Services at 527-8367 or 735-5200.
Tomorrow night is the final regular season game of the high school football season. Hi, this is Warren Henderson. Listen to the Trophies and Tributes Coach's Corner at 7:15. Then join me and Dave Shamley at Goldsboro High School when the Cougars host the Pam Pack of Washington. Kickoff is set for 7:30 tomorrow night. The Wayne County High School Game of the Week is brought to you in part by Friendly Mart Stores, Wilbur's Barbecue, Hasty Air Conditioning, and Greg Foster, your State Farm Insurance agent. Washington at Goldsboro tomorrow night on the High School Game of the Week on 1150 WGBR.
Talent on loan from God, Maha Rushi, and the EIB network at 800-282-2882. One of the senators that strode the microphone last night in the Senate PR gallery to denounce the Republicans on the Judiciary Committee for their assault on Bill Land-Lee was Dianne Feinstein. Dianne Feinstein joined the chorus of those Democrats accusing the Republicans of having anti-Asian American tendencies and racist tendencies by opposing his nomination. Now, let's talk about Dianne Feinstein for a moment. Here's a senator who never met a communist Chinese dictator that she and her husband didn't like. Remember, it was pointed out in newspapers all last week during the visit by Jiang Zemin that Dianne Feinstein is the person in Washington closest to the Chinese. The person in Washington's got a lot of people, got a lot of persons. Dianne Feinstein said to be the closest. And I remember I mentioned this to you, Mr. Snerdley, and you said, why? And I said, because her husband has countless investments over there, a guy named Richard Blum. So here's a senator who never met a communist Chinese dictator she and her husband didn't like. She refuses, therefore, to forcibly condemn civil rights and human rights violations in China. And there she was last night claiming that her Republican colleagues have some kind of anti-Asian animus because they oppose Bill Land-Lee's radical preference-based civil rights views. I mean, there's a lot of hypocrisy there. She won't condemn the communist Chinese for what they do, but basically accuses the Republicans on the Senate Judiciary Committee of being worse. I don't think his race has anything to do with it, Mr. Snerdley. I don't think at all. I think in terms of the opposition. Now, whether or not his race might have been a consideration in being nominated, I wouldn't doubt it. I think this administration plays a race card all the time. They're totally into preferences. I think that this is part of what Clinton wants. I think Clinton likes the idea. I think he nominates somebody that he knows is going to be opposed because of their stand on the law. And they happen to be Asian American. The president loves... Why do you think Alexis Herman became the labor secretary? No more unqualified person in the cabinet than Alexis Herman. And you'll recall the Republicans refused... She was so in deep and in bed with Ron Brown. I mean, any investigation into her at the Senate level would have turned up all sorts of documentation, information sufficient enough to disqualify her to be labor secretary. Republicans wanted no part of it. She's a woman. She's an African-American woman. They didn't want to be seen as opposing her. She sails through. You're sure this administration takes those kinds of things into account. And I'm not at all unconvinced that the president didn't have the same modus operandi here. He loves having the Republicans appear to be attacking an Asian American. And Mikulski saying Asian Americans around the world are noticing this shabby treatment. Patrick Leahy said, in fact, this is what Leahy said. Patrick Leahy said, Asian Americans will not soon forget the shabby treatment of Bill Lee at the hands of the Republican leadership. Ted Kennedy said, this is the vote on civil rights. The question is whether the party of Lincoln will cast its vote against civil rights. Now, according to Kennedy, the Civil War was fought to defend racial preferences because that's what Bill Lee believes in. Bill Lee believes in racial preferences. In fact, the Civil War was fought for just the opposite reason. Abe Lincoln's turning over in his grave if he hears what Ted Kennedy is saying. Guys, they're bankrupt. They are out of it. Now, get this. I have come across some exit poll data from Virginia, my good friends, about the gender gap. Get this. If you had known the recent history of Virginia Democrats winning women votes, and you know that 55% of all Virginia voters on Tuesday were women, 55%, get this, 55% of all voters in Virginia were women on Tuesday. The exit poll shows the reasons why Gilmore carried both men and women. Most voters considered taxes the top issue, and they chose no car tax Gilmore. Women did by 83 to 16%. Gender gap? If so, it can be overcome by a principled stand and consistent principled stand on the issues that matter to people. Quick break, back with more. Got another phone call or two here. And we can maybe sneak in before the hour expires. Don't go away, folks.
You're listening to the EIB Network. Bill Clinton's deep throat has finally spoken. American Spectator Editor-in-Chief R. Emmett Terrell and Anonymous, a secret source close to the Clinton White House, have written what will surely be the most controversial book of 1997, The Impeachment of William Jefferson Clinton. You can buy this sure-to-be bestseller in bookstores or get it free by subscribing to the American Spectator. In this riveting drama, Terrell and Anonymous project how Clinton could be impeached with facts we already know, which Democratic senators switch sides and vote to convict Bill Clinton, and what smoking gun will ultimately emerge to doom the Clinton presidency. Call 800-884-7849 and subscribe to the American Spectator. We'll rush you a free softcover of The Impeachment of William Jefferson Clinton. For $34.95, you'll get 12 issues of the American Spectator, plus a free copy of a book that puts you in the vortex of a coming political firestorm. Call 800-884-7849. Supplies are limited. Call now. 800-884-7849.
At Leith of Goldsboro, it's true. Price sells cars, and now during the month of November, you can't beat the savings at Leith of Goldsboro. Get any 1997 Chrysler, Plymouth, Jeep, Eagle, Dodge, or Isuzu in stock for just $97 over invoice, and you keep any rebates. Leith is also giving away with each test drive a free Carolina Panther poster. And ask about the free U.S. cellular phone with your purchase. Just $97 over invoice on every 1997 model in stock at Leith of Goldsboro. Be sure to register for the free Carolina Panther football tickets from Leith of Goldsboro. Now more than ever, it's true. Price sells cars at Leith of Goldsboro.
A 38-year-old single mother working 2 jobs so she can raise her kids in a decent neighborhood. A 26-year-old drug dealer, a new neighbor, looking for new customers. At stake, her children. Whose side are you on? You can help the community organizations that can help her. Call us toll-free at 1-888-544-KIDS. We're fighting for the children.
Whose side are you on?
A message from the Coalition for America's Children and the Ad Council.
From the WGBR Community Affairs Desk, the Civitan organization is scheduling the Duke Child Development Center screening van to come to Goldsboro the week of December the 15th. Researchers from the Duke Unit Civitan building will be testing preschool children for speech, language, and hearing deficiencies. If you'd like more information, contact any member of the Civitan clubs. Hear what everybody's talking about on 1150 WGBR.
Whether you're trying to begin a business or settle a problem with a neighbor, I'm here to help you. Hello there, I'm Bruce Williams. Each weeknight from 7 to 10, we get together, we do our best to solve these problems. And hey, you can jump in, the water's fine. The number's 1-800-743-8000. Let me repeat that, 1-800-743-8000. Join in on the very best of conversation. Who knows? Both of us will learn something. Happens. The Bruce Williams Show, 7 to 10 here on Goldsboro's very own 1150 WGBR.
All right, back to the phones we go now. 1-800-282-2882 is the number. Jane in Clark Summit, Pennsylvania. Hello.
Good afternoon, Rush. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Mega dittos.
Thank you very much.
I'm a third-time caller and a one-time visitor to your TV show. My question to this afternoon is, I was watching C-SPAN this morning, and the spokesman for the Republicans was J.D. Hayward from Arizona, and the congressman from Ohio, which is discussing Sanchez thing last night on television. And I understand from J.D. Hayward that the Democrats in 1985 overturned an election between a Republican and Democrat and given it to the Democrat when the Republican won by 8 votes without even an investigation, without any discussion. They just turned it over and just did away with it. Is that true?
Yeah, yeah, it's true. The outcome is true. They did overturn a Republican victory in Indiana, is where it occurred.
Okay.
And the guy leading the movement in the House at that time was Leon Panetta.
Uh-huh. That doesn't surprise me.
Leon Panetta is the one who was in charge of that. But what I don't know is if Hayworth is right that they did it without an investigation. I don't recall the specifics. I do recall that it happened. I recall in the forefront of my cerebellum that it happened.
By the way, he's an excellent spokesman. And the congressman from Ohio, they sound like they've been in training with Bill Clinton's administration. They all come on with the same lingo. They don't have any answers, and then they attack the person asking the questions or giving the information. And I think, Rush, with the election on Tuesday proves that American people are finally seeing through what these Democrats are doing, because they all sound alike. They all sound like they've been in training. They go in and they have the same lingo.
Well, they do. I mean, what happened, at least in the House of Representatives, they're on Thursdays and occasionally on Tuesdays, there are what is called 1-minute speeches.
Right.
Have you ever noticed, if you've watched those, that the Democrats all say basically the same thing? They attack the same issue or the same person, the same whatever. There is a meeting before the House convenes every morning, and it's chaired by Rosa DeLauro. And Rosa DeLauro sits, and they basically write everybody's script for the 1-minute speeches for that day. So there is coordination. And you're right, J.D. Hayworth is good. There's no question about it. We've got a break. We'll be back with more. Ross Perot on the agenda coming up. Back in a moment.
How would you like to surprise your office staff or maybe your coworkers? You can with delicious Krispy Kreme donuts, bagels, and coffee in the WGBR coffee break. It's easy to do. Just get a piece of your company letterhead, say that you would like to have a WGBR coffee break. Make sure to include a phone number and contact person and how many people are in your office, place of business, or organization. Then fax the letterhead to WGBR at 736-3876. That's 736-3876. Or send it to the WGBR Coffee Break at 914 West Grantham Street, Goldsboro, 27530. Then be listening at 8:30 a.m. to the WGBR Morning Show on Mondays for the winner of the WGBR Coffee Break. Courtesy of Krispy Kreme Donuts
and 1150 WGBR. You can have delicious donuts, bagels, and coffee delivered to your place of business every Monday morning from Krispy Kreme Donuts and WGBR.
Hear what everybody's talking about. 1150 WGBR Goldsboro.
NBC Radio News. The Texas A&M band saluting the former president of the United States, George Bush, as his presidential library is dedicated in College Station, Texas. President Clinton full of praise for his predecessor.
I think it's fair to say that all Americans are united in tribute to President George Bush for his lifetime of service to America.
Clinton says the former president has been a great help to him during his own time in office. Clinton jetting back from the Bush Library dedication early so he can lobby full-time for fast-track trade authority. He faces an uphill battle ahead of a House vote tomorrow. Jurors in New York deliberating charges against two men in the 1993 bombing of the World Trade Center. One is the alleged mastermind. The other is the alleged driver of the van that was used in the World Trade Center blast. I'm Barbara Porter.
Hello, I'm Wade Cook. I've just written my latest book, Bear Market Baloney. My last book, Stock Market Miracles, and The Wall Street Money Machine are huge national bestsellers. Now you can get valuable information to improve your cash flow, work out your early retirement, and make some great improvements in your life. Some of the information you can get in these books is now on cassette, and it's free for a limited time. Call 1-800-872-7411 now and order Income Formulas. I'll explain 11 strategies that will help you get rich. That's 1-800-872-7411. There's no cost and no obligation to buy anything. Again, it's called the Income Formulas tape. Now you can buy Bear Market Baloney and my other book, Wall Street Money Machine, and Stock Market Miracles in better bookstores everywhere. But now for a limited time, this free 1-hour cassette is available. It's 1-800-872-7411. It's a Wade Cook Income Formulas tape, 1-800-872-7411.
Iraq is doing more than tempting fate, so says Defense Secretary William Cohen after the Baghdad government turned away American weapons inspectors once again. Correspondent Joe Walsh is at the Pentagon.
Secretary Cohen says the United States will wait for the return of the United Nations envoys in Baghdad before deciding how to respond to the Iraqi standoff. Cohen warned Iraq that continued violation of UN mandates and preventing arms inspections could result in further economic sanctions or military action. Cohen says Iraq must comply. The mandates, he says, are not negotiable.
A Senate panel is putting off action on a controversial nominee to enforce the nation's civil rights laws. Democrats called for the delay in the vote on Bill Land-Lee. Senator Edward Kennedy was clearly angry, his GOP counterparts, because they opposed the nominee.
The party of Lincoln should not be a party to this sneak attack on civil rights. Bill Lee is ideally suited to be the nation's chief civil rights officer.
But chairman of the committee, Senator Orrin Hatch, says Lee has a distorted view of civil rights law. Oakland A's outfielder Jose Canseco is in trouble with the law in Florida. Miami police arrested the 37-year-old baseball player and charged him with simple battery. He's accused by Miami police of striking his wife in the back of the head and on her face. Reports that upscale Bloomingdale's would be the groups that stole Christmas were denied by the department store today. Vice President Ann Keating says it's not true. Bloomie's opted against having Santa at its Showcase Midtown New York store this year.
Holiday windows, fantasy decorations, and live music always herald the beginning of the Christmas season and the holiday season at Bloomingdale's stores across the country. And in the 59th Street store, Santa will be a part of that celebration.
There are also reports that Toys R Us is replacing Santa images with a gift registry for kids this year. On Wall Street, the Dow at this hour down 12, trading at 76.80. With NBC Radio News, I'm Barbara Porter.
Okay, it's time. Time to give you credit for knowing a good thing when you see it. Just use your Sears card now through Saturday at the Sears card sale, and we'll take 10% off everything you buy. We'll even take 10% off sale prices on all electronics, appliances, hardware, apparel, well, the whole store, really. So go on, take an extra 10% off at the Sears card sale, and take full credit for being the savvy shopper you are. Sale runs November 6th through 8th. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
I was a big Nestle Quick fan until last year. That's when I tried rich chocolate Ovaltine. Believe me, it didn't take long to switch from Quick. Ovaltine has an amazing chocolate taste, and it's loaded with vitamins and minerals, and no fat. So why not drink something that tastes great and is good for you? Hey, I'm not a kid anymore, but when I want something cold and chocolatey, I feel like an Ovaltine. I feel like an Ovaltine.
This November, save before the holidays at Ace Customer Appreciation Days. Get a 3-foot Douglas fir artificial Christmas tree pre-lit with 100 clear miniature lights for only $14.99. Or an Ace heavy-duty 6-outlet power strip with circuit breaker, now just $277. Customer Appreciation Days, only at Ace Home Center, 2106 Wayne Memorial Drive, Goldsboro. Ace is a place with the helpful hardware folks.
Ace Home Center's quality you need. Prices you'll like.
As a storm system takes shape off the East Coast, we're likely going to see some cool, wet weather over the next couple of days, although it appears that the actual rainfall totals will be on the light side across our area from this storm. This afternoon will be cloudy, breezy, and cool with patches of light rain developing later in the afternoon, highs 50 to 55, and cloudy tonight and tomorrow with off and on light rain, lows in the mid to upper 40s tonight, and temperatures in the 40s all day tomorrow. I'm Brian Orzel in the Weather Center.
WGBR.
To you, conversationalists all across the fruited plain, the award-winning, thrill-packed, ever-exciting, increasingly popular Rush Limbaugh program is underway. Hour number 2 of broadcast excellence is straight ahead. Nice to have you with us, my friends, as always. The telephone number, should you like to join us, is 800-282-2882. We just got a call from Sonny Bono. His, I don't know if it's, I think it was his office called. Cookie came down to the studio and informed me that Sonny Bono's name was never on Congressman Barr's resolution looking into a resolution for impeaching President Clinton. He said if his name had been on it, he would have stayed on it. It never was on it. So Sonny Bono's office wanted us to clarify that. Ross Perot has filed a huge lawsuit out in San Francisco, ladies and gentlemen, and in the San Francisco Chronicle today, the headline is Perot sues most everyone inside the Beltway. The suit basically asks that certain federal election laws be declared unconstitutional and that the Reform Party and the 96 Perot presidential campaign be paid damages. It also asks the court to overturn a campaign financing law that grants minor political parties less public money than the major parties, requests an accounting of the allegedly illegal campaign spending in the 96 presidential election, and asks for damages for Perot's inability to compete fairly. Perot said, this suit will allow us to depose all the people who committed these criminal acts during the campaign. They cannot plead the Fifth Amendment because this is a civil case. So they're going to take depositions, or they want to, of all the people who committed criminal acts during the campaign. Now, has anybody been convicted of making criminal acts I mean, we all know who did, but you really... this could be fun if this if this pans out. Russ Verney, who is the Reform Party's chairman, said that this suit is not about where the money comes from, as the Thompson Committee focused on. This suit's about where the money went. Because if it was used to influence the outcome of a federal election, it is an illegal expenditure. There has been speculation on a Fox News channel today that the suit was filed in San Francisco because the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco is the most liberal court in the country, which gives the suit a better chance of going forward. Perot says it's not the reason. It was filed there to get as far away from Washington as possible. Now, I didn't want to be anywhere near the Beltway when we filed this suit. Get away as far away as possible. Why didn't you go to Hawaii then? You could have filed this suit in Hawaii, still been in the United States, and you'd have been as far away from the Beltway as you could possibly get. Ladies and gentlemen, we have put together for you a short montage, takes less than a minute, of comments made by Perot during his major address to the Reform Party convention Saturday night in Kansas City.
And I'd like for you to look at this as the panel of a jet aircraft that you're flying at low altitude. Folks, I'm lying here on the floor. Somebody cut the artery in my left arm. I'm losing blood like crazy. How about cutting my right arm and let's get better? Wait a minute. You know they balance the budget for us. We're going to live happily ever after. Now, if you believe that, I got stuff in the attic to sell you after this speech, and I'd like to meet you over here at the side door, okay? You know, I didn't get this from E.T. He may have better numbers, by the way. Oh, I'm bought and paid for. I belong to you. I offer tonight that we should have a national debate on this subject. I will personally pay for the television time. The offer is on the table, fellas. No place to run, no place to hide. Call me collect. I'll take your call. A third party doesn't have a prayer. If you'd like me to go away, I will. If you'd like me to stay, I will.
What you want? Americans, I got 'em. All the answers, do you know I got 'em? And all I'm asking is for just a little bit of respect. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you follow me? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. You know all the volunteers, they have spoken. And all that baloney, they're still not choking. All I'm asking is for a little bit of respect. Just a little bit. I think it's an order. Just a little bit. Why not? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Y'all can join them. Just send in your money. $15 and you can be my buddy. Seems to me I deserve just a little bit of respect. Do you follow me? Do you know what I'm talking about? Look, I pay for these horn players. World class, ain't they? Something else. Do you want to talk about family values? Well, my family is valued at $3.82 billion. Get it? All this power is just sweeter than honey. Almost as much fun as counting my money. All I want you to do is give it to me now. You follow me? Respect. Just a little. R-E-S-P-C-T. Find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-C-T. On your knees now, pray to me. That's right. Say amen. And I'll answer. I can't answer right now. I don't have my verse with me. If you'd have told me beforehand, I would have brought them with me. See, there's got to be a chief, and I'm the chief. See, do you follow me?
They're coming to take me away, ha ha. Now, Rossborough wants to depose everybody inside the Beltway who may have any knowledge of how the Reform Party got the shaft in the 1996 debates. That's what he's really upset about. They kept him out of the debates, ladies and gentlemen, and he says he didn't get enough money. We'll keep following this for you as events unfold right before our eyes. Houston Mayor Bob Lanier today is trying to mend fences after the affirmative action program he championed survived a referendum to dismantle it. While the nation looked on, Lanier says that he understands opponents' complaints. He hopes to consider their side in bridging the racial divide in Houston. Now, during the campaign period for this, the outgoing mayor inferred that those who opposed this amendment that would have rolled back preferential treatment and race-based preferences were rednecks. And he inferred that those who opposed were going to take Houston back to the redneck days. He said, if we go back to the days where guys who look like me get all the deals, then we're shooting ourselves in the foot, or whatever he said. He insulted voters. Now he wants to mend fences. There's been some analysis of this, my friends, and some are saying that the people who wrote this miswrote it. Had they used correct language, that the outcome might have been different. Daniel Smith, political science professor, University of Denver, says opponents of affirmative action will now become more vigilant in how they phrase such measures. They'll figure out what language to use to attack affirmative action. This initiative certainly symbolizes what language doesn't work. Now, the Houston measure asked voters if they wish to end an affirmative action program. And voters rejected that idea, 55 to 45%. Pundits and political activists say that using the phrase affirmative action rather than racial preferences may have played a decisive role in how the electorate viewed the measure. Now, Prop 209 used the words preferential treatment to describe how the state would no longer be allowed to discriminate on the basis of race or gender. And this is probably a good point. Had they simply asked the voters of Houston, do you want to end race-based preferences? Outcome, no doubt, would have been different. May not have won. You never want to speculate on that. But the margin may have been a little bit closer. Something I had from yesterday, we didn't have a chance to squeeze it in. United Airlines is conducting I don't know if it's a test or if they've actually implemented this, but the people who fly out of Des Moines, Iowa, who pay the lowest fares available, will be allowed only one carry-on bag. It's a test. United Airlines hopes to take system-wide. Passengers who pay the lowest fares out of Des Moines will be restricted to only one carry-on bag. It starts December 1st. The move is designed to help higher fare business travelers who often grumble they can't find room for their carry-on bags when flights are full. Now, this is interesting because I've done some research. Do you know the business traveler accounts for 50% of the revenue of the United Airlines generates? They are 30% of the traveling public on United, but they generate 50% of the revenue, or close to it. So they're simply saying, look, these are the people that basically underwrite the airline. They're the ones who support us, and we're going to make sure that they have room for their carry-on bags. The way we're going to do that is to tell those paying the lowest fares they can only bring on one carry-on bag. We got a recipe here, my friends, for the exploitation of class, especially since it's evil corporate guys who will appear to be beneficiaries. This could get ugly. It may not, but it could. By the way, I totally support United's plan here. I totally understand how you show up late, you're trying to find a place to put your carry-on luggage, and there's no room, and it turns out that you're the one paying most of the freight for this airline to operate. The airline simply responding to its best customers here. See how it plays out. The test starts December 1st. Got a break. 800-282-2882 is the number. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Since I began doing great radio commercials for the Bose Wave radio, I've heard from people who've had this radio for years and love it. They swear by it, so much so they get as much Bose audio as they can in every part of their lives. Automobiles, boats, you name it. My friends, the Bose Wave radio is so good, I'm going to order 10 of them and give them away as Christmas presents this year. This radio is astounding. I will never sound better than on the Bose Wave radio. I never sound more correct than I do on the Bose Wave radio. Same thing goes for music. Now, by calling 800-625-BOSE, you and your friends can listen to music on the radio that is more enjoyable than you have ever dreamed. On top of that great sound, Bose is offering you a 30-day risk-free in-home trial. If you don't like it, send it back. But you will like it, and you won't send it back. And if you call right now, Bose will pay for the shipping to send the Wave radio right to your door. You got to hear the Bose Wave radio and decide for yourself. Call 800-625-BOSE. That's 800-625-BOSE.
El Nino is coming. Some predict it will bring the worst storms of the decade. Others, what do they know? We at Penske Auto Center say, why take a chance? Now through November 22nd, all Goodyear tires are on sale. Economizer tires start as low as $18.99. Penske Auto Center is also offering specials on a variety of other products and services. Get your car ready for what might be the worst winter ever. Or not. Visit Penske Auto Center, now at nearly 800 Kmart locations.
It's hard to stop a trade because every Trade XL 1200 WeatherTron heat pump is designed, tested, and manufactured to last. Call your CP&L quality heat pump dealer, E.T. Farrell & Son of Mount Olive, and save on this heat pump. The Trade XL 1200 will run for years regardless of the weather. The compressor and coil are covered by Trane's 10-year manufacturer's limited warranty, plus 2 years on all parts and labor. Call E.T. Farrell & Son of Mount Olive, serving Eastern North Carolina for over 50 years, 658-2971.
Yeah, just one taste is all. That's all it takes.
And McCall's Barbecue and Seafood in Goldsboro. McCall's specializes in Oakwood cooked barbecue pork cooked daily. We do chicken and seafood the way you like it. Don't forget our famous country buffet every day from 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. We've got something special for everyone. Opening 11 to 9, 7 days a week. McCall's Barbecue and Seafood, Highway 70 East and 111 intersection Goldsboro, and now open in Morehead City and Highway 70 East.
Yeah, just one taste. All that it takes. That's all it takes.
At Leith of Goldsboro, it's true. Price sells cars, and now during the month of November, you can't beat the savings at Leith of Goldsboro. Get any 1997 Chrysler, Plymouth, Jeep, Eagle, Dodge, or Isuzu in stock for just $97 over invoice, and you keep any rebates. Leith is also giving away with each test drive a free Carolina Panther poster. And ask about the free U.S. cellular phone with your purchase. Just $97 over invoice on every 1997 model in stock at Leith of Goldsboro. Be sure to register for the free Carolina Panther football tickets from Leith of Goldsboro. Now more than ever, it's true. Price sells cars at Leith of Goldsboro.
Shaver Battery and Parts is now at Vantage Auto Stores, your local auto value parts store. The name's changed, but we're still the same. The parts you want, the value you expect. A complete line of auto, truck, and tractor parts and accessories. 10% discount to military personnel. Speedometer calibrations next door at Bill's Place, your local AC Delco parts source. Visit our website, www.advantageautostores.com. Advantage Auto Stores, 1225 West Grantham Street, Goldsboro.
Here's telephone number, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be on the most listened to radio talk show in America today, 800-282-2882. Cary, North Carolina. This is Glenn. Hello.
Rush, make a cigar smoking, suburban driving dittos.
Thank you, sir, for your call.
Listen, on Monday night when Lynn Swan was interviewing Mr. Rooney during the football game, they made the point to say that the tax would not only pay for the stadiums, but other projects all over the counties. So I think the cat was let out of the bag that they were just going to be funding more, more government programs. People just didn't want to pay for it.
Yeah, I did see that interview. Swan was talking to Dan Rooney, who owns the Steelers, and Rooney thought it was a selling point to say, hey, look, it's not just going to build the stadium. There are many other needy projects that some of the money raised will go towards. I don't know that was a big factor, Glenn, only because the polls never, ever indicated that this had a chance. Now, that might have been the final nail in the coffin, but it certainly, I don't know that it was the issue on which it turned. I'll tell you about this sports stuff, folks. It really is true in professional sports today that the number one priority used to be getting the best players you could for as decent an overall labor cost as you could, for the express purpose of fielding a winning team. And while that is still paramount, there are other things that in many cases have taken precedence in certain markets, and one of the things is stadiums. There are some teams that have disadvantageous deals with the city playing in old, antiquated stadiums, and they're competing against teams that have new, modern stadiums, and stadium revenue is not shared revenue. It's true in the National Football League that the gate is split 60-40, but luxury box revenue isn't split. There's a whole bunch of revenue that isn't split that the team gets to hold on to. And some teams have a huge advantage over others because they got nicer, bigger stadiums with more luxury boxes and so forth. And that's what Rooney is saying. He said, look, we've got to compete. And the Steelers, I'll tell you, it's amazing the team they're able to field. They've been ravaged by free agents. They've lost almost an entire starting unit on the defense. Over the past 3 years, they've lost great offensive players, and still they're tied for the lead in the AFC Central. And they're there every year. I think it's a tribute to coaching. I think it's a tribute to a guy named Tom Donahoe who puts the team together, and, of course, the Rooney family. And all they're saying is that we can't compete. What the people of Pittsburgh are saying is, wait a second. We don't care about other cities and whether taxpayers there are building the stadium. You got more money than we do, and we don't know why we should build the stadium and then have to pay all this money to go see it. To go visit the stadium. If we pay the stadium, what goes on there ought to be not quite as expensive as it is. You guys have the money. You're the ones using it. You buy it. Because people are overtaxed. It's a dilemma. It really is. Well, the city benefits overall with a new stadium too, because they get the lease, they get a share of the revenue that's generated, and all that. The city would generate with it. The Steelers have a grandiose plan. They want to build more than a stadium. They want to build an actual thing called the NFL experience there, and they're trying to provide an attraction that goes above and beyond a football team. They're going for a year-round attraction where this stadium would be, as opposed to just 8 or 9 events every year, counting preseason games, where the stadium would be used for football. And you have to feel for them, but you also understand the people of those 11 counties in western Pennsylvania who echo the sentiments of people nationwide. We're taxed enough. We are asked to pay for everything. We're asked to pay for things that we don't own. We're asked to pay for things that we get no return on. We're asked to pay for things that people that got billions of dollars could pay for themselves and don't. And they don't understand it. Look at Miami. Wayne Huizenga is a great guy.